There's 4 of me. I'm coming at you today as Pop Art. Are you ready for this next adventure? All right, here we go. How to raise creative kids. All right, well, it starts with you. That's there. Do we need to go any further? It starts with you. And not that it's your responsibility to raise a creative child. It's your responsibility to be your creative self. It's your responsibility to model what it means to be creative, to be joyful, to feel connected, to be generous with yourself. Because here's the deal. Our kids mimic us. They model our behavior. They pick up on things that we're not even aware of them picking up on. When we're stressed, they know it. Because usually we have a short fuse when we're stressed out and we're less patient and we're perhaps easily agitated. And we know how that affects our kids, right? It's no different than when we're joyful and we're full of energy and we feel good and there's like a euphoria hanging around us and the kids pick up on that too and there's more laughter and it's lighthearted, right? So our children model our own behavior. They mirror us. So when we become parents, sometimes we often feel like we have to give all of ourselves to our kids. We need to always be present in the moment. We need to be available to them when they need something, anything. We need to stop what we're doing to cater to them. And that works for a little while, but then we start to maybe feel a little resentment, and we don't know why we feel resentment. It's really because we've abandoned something about ourselves. We're not giving enough attention to that former part of ourselves that wanted to do whatever it is you wanted to do before you had this awesome responsibility of being a parent. And then we're in this vicious cycle of feeling bad that we feel bad that we don't want to spend every waking moment with our child. But we shouldn't feel bad. And if we aren't generous to ourselves, what lesson does that teach our children? So we're acknowledging that parenting is an adventure. And in order to live creative, exciting, adventurous lives, because it's exciting and creative and adventurous sounds way cooler than being housebound and depressed and disconnected, right? Well, in order to keep the adventure going, we need to get out there and we need to be kind to ourselves. Because this is the reminder in week 1 that when we take care of ourselves, we give ourselves energy, we give ourselves clarity, and that allows us to take really, really good care of our kids. All right? So we've got to nurture ourselves in order to set the example for our kids. Simple enough. Okay, so there's a few things that we're going to do this week to tap into that nurturing and that sense of adventure. All right. The first thing is obviously the artist date. We know how important the artist date is and how easily it's almost always our kids who are the excuse why we don't go on the artist date for ourselves, because we feel like our commitment to them is more important than the commitment to ourselves. So this is a reminder that we need an artist date for ourselves. This week doesn't have to be fancy, but you do need to do something for you. And then I'm also going to ask you to do something with your kids, something with just you and your kids, another adventure. So consider there to be like 2 artist dates this week. Okay, the other thing is I'm going to ask you to revisit your sacred circle, your inner circle, sacred circle, safety circle, whatever you want to call it. But this is that core group of people that you can call upon to, and when you do, you're able to be totally honest. You can be 100% yourself, and it's freeing and it's authentic and it's you, and that person on the other end loves you no matter what. And there's nothing that you can say that's going to make that person think ill of you, because they have your back 100%. Okay, so we're going to revisit who's in that circle because we're going to call upon them this week. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to ask you to do is take some downtime, right? So we are often just go, 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 And in the rush of life and the routine that happens when we're busy parents with busy kids leading busy lives is that we forget to like stop and smell the roses, so to speak. So we're gonna, as a group, make a commitment to give ourselves 15 minutes of downtime. That's like close the door, don't bother mommy, 15 minutes. It's not a lot of time, but it's an incredibly important amount of time. Okay? The other thing, in addition to, and with that downtime, by the way, whether it's resting, like giving yourself just like a 15-minute power nap, a 10-minute meditation, just sitting quietly, it could also be something like totally frivolous. Be playful, be fun, 10 minutes of picking weeds, whatever it is. I'm going to ask you to just carve out 15 minutes to do something purely for your own pleasure, okay? And that 10 minutes, by the way, 10, 15 minutes is not to be confused with the 2-hour artist date that you're on the hook for, okay? But the final part of the adventure this week is getting out in nature and going for a walk. And I'm not going to ask you to make that a solo, quiet, reflective time for yourself. I'm going to ask you to do it with your kids. So I want you to go for a walk with your kids for 20 minutes, no agenda. Just go. Just take in the sights, right? Listen, chat maybe, but no agenda. Walk for 20 minutes with your kids. And then when you get back, I want you to journal. So maybe consider it like an afternoon page, all right? So that's a challenge for this week. We're gonna jump back into getting connected to ourselves so that we can be awesome, creative beacons of light for our kids because they mirror and mimic us and they're in for an adventure too. Okay, so I'm gonna follow up with an email and I shall see y'all soon.